Well, let's go to Edo State. Yesterday, the All Progressives Congress APC in Edo State says it has suspended the national chairman of the APC. You heard me right. The national chairman of APC, Adams Oshiomhole, over his role in the crisis rocking the state chapter of the party. The decision followed, according to some of the leaders, that the vote of no confidence passed on Mr. Oshiomhole by the chairman of the APC in the 18 local government areas of Edo State. They said the decision was necessary to prevent a repeat of what happened in Zamfara State, where the party was unable to field any candidates in elections. Take a listen to them.
In Edo State of our great party, All Progressives Congress, because of what is happening in Edo State, and we have discovered to our greatest chagrin that the national chairman of our great party, our own son, Comrade Adams Ali Oshiomhole, is seen as being behind the crisis in Edo State. Hence, we, the chairmen, have therefore resolved to pass a vote of no confidence on him this day, the 12th day of November 2019.
All right. If you are not from Edo State, hold that in one hand. Today in Abuja and in Edo State, a faction of the party declared Governor Godwin Obaseki, the governor, and his deputy, Philip Shuaibu, suspended. You heard me right. Oshiomhole suspended. Governor and the deputy suspended. And this group are saying with immediate effect, the APC leaders under the umbrella of the Edo State APC Working Committee also passed a vote of confidence on the national chairman of the party, Adams Oshiomhole. So indeed, is perhaps a house of commotion, describing a purported suspension of the national chairman by the faction loyal to Governor Obaseki as laughable and untenable. Addressing the news conference in Abuja, a factional state chairman of the party, retired Colonel David Musa, says Governor Obaseki is guilty of sponsoring thuggery and political violence in the pursuit of his second-term ambition. He also blames the governor and his deputy for the increasing level of thuggery and political violence in Edo State. Listen to David Musa.
It is therefore not surprising that the governor is working tirelessly to destroy the APC in the state. Consequently, we hereby suspend Godwin Obaseki, the governor of the state, Honorable Philip Shuaibu, Barrister Osadio.
You heard. So the drama is playing itself right. Who is suspending who? Who has the right to suspend who? In Edo State, another group is doing a similar thing. Well, the PDP is cashing in on this one. And they are telling the APC or whoever, in fact, they're telling the governor that he should come to the PDP to take a refuge. Take a listen to the chairman of the PDP, Dan Obi.
Obaseki has no business giving anybody 1 naira to join the PDP. If he has 6 billion to spend just to join PDP, I will advise him to spend that 6 billion to address the problems facing the state. We don't need any money from any person to join our party. Our party is open to all those who are interested in joining us as members.
Let's talk about this. So much to talk about. But I have two gentlemen from Edo State to talk about this. A lawyer, Mr. Mwanta Adaze, and he joins me here in our Lagos studio. Thank you so much. He's a lecturer and also a public affairs analyst. From Abuja studio is Honorable Washington Osifo. Is yet to be inaugurated. Is one of the aggrieved members of the Edo State House of Assembly. Where do we begin from? Maybe we should begin from you, Mr. Adaze. What is happening in Edo State? The governor has been suspended from the APC. The deputy governor has been suspended. The chairman of the party suspended also. What is happening?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the truth is one thing that we should not mortgage at this time of the political development of our great country, Nigeria. Adams Oshiomhole has been the man behind the mask when this whole crisis started, especially the time they had primaries in the APC, and he wanted to impose his candidates. And of course, we went up to the time the House of Assembly was inaugurated. He wanted a particular group of persons to be in charge of the leadership. And the members said, no, these are the number of persons that have been put up for leadership. And that was what emerged on the 17th of June when, we saw that inauguration, which of course he sponsored some persons who are currently in Abuja to create crisis. And of course, the court has resolved that matter. Not done yet. We've been having one crisis or the other. The recent attack at Iyamo of the governor, the Oba of Lagos, and some other personalities. The national chairman actually admitted, yes, there was an attack. But after admitting there was an attack, he came up with this story of it was a deputy governor. And unfortunately, just yesterday, 2 members of the state working committee were abducted. Goda was abducted, the financial secretary was abducted, then one comrade, Timo Sadolo, the auditor of the party, was abducted. They were taken to a particular place at gunpoint at 1 a.m. in the morning, made to sign a document. It was later they were able to, escape, and by the time they came out, we were so surprised to know that even when the state secretary of the party, the suspended state secretary of the party, was nowhere to be found, only for us to hear that it was at the residence of the suspended, though he has been expelled, because yesterday his suspension was ratified, and of course, his expulsion was ratified. And it's so sad because the man, Adams Oshiomhole, is the one behind this crisis, and he stands suspended.
Can you suspend the number 1 man in a political party from his home state? Is it possible?
Very possible, because for you to be a member, for you to be the national chairman of a party, you are first of all a member of the party. And of course, the APC constitution is very clear. He's a member of the APC. He's a principal member of the APC. It's just like a senator. If a senator loses his seat from the Senate, if he's suspended, either by his, of course, I'm not going to talk about suspension here, because you're talking about a senator not being a senator. So he can no longer occupy a principal office.
What about the rule that before you can suspend a principal elected party executive, it has to be at a NEC meeting or at the party national convention?
Let me put it clearly. He's not suspended as chairman of the APC, but as a member, because when you look at the crisis in Edo State, he's the man behind the mask. So as a member of the APC, he can be suspended. And the suspension, of course, the National Executive Council of the party, which met the last time in August 2018, and of course, just recently, the APC governors have asked him to call for the NEC or he resigns. Right. Because look at what is happening now. You, as the chairman of the National Working Committee, you are saying that the governor of the state is suspended. Can you be a judge in your case? Right. Adams Oshiomhole must step aside as the national chairman of the APC because he has been suspended validly by the state organ, because 15 of the local governments
also that announced the suspension of the governor.
Of course, the EPM is a RAC team. All right, it's a RAC tag team.
I will allow you to respond, but also we'll go to Honorable Washington Osifo when we come back from the break. The crisis looked like it's just starting in Edo State. You hear more when we return from this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We're talking about the internal crisis of the APC in Edo State. It's no longer internal because the opposition party has weighed in on this matter and is asking Governor Obaseki to come to the PDP for refuge. Since now that a faction of the APC in Edo State suspended the governor and his deputy, and another faction suspended the number 1 man in the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, it beats some political understanding of what is happening in Edo State. So we have 2 people who do not agree on some of these issues of the different divide in this matter. Mr. Andrew Mwanta Adeze is a lawyer and a university lecturer. Honorable Washington Osifo from our Abuja studio is not yet inaugurated, so is a member-elect of the Edo State House of Assembly. Let me go to you, Honorable Osifo. What is happening? And in this case, the suspended people, who has the right to suspend and who does not have the right?
Well, Kimberly Shehu, good evening, and from Abuja, good evening to our dear Nigerians, and particularly our brothers and sisters in Edo State. First, let me keep the record straight. When you introduced us as 2 gentlemen of the APC extraction. First, I want to say the man with you there, I'm surprised that he didn't tell you that he's not a member of APC. The last time I checked, he's a member of PDP, and that was why the last time when we came here, addressed him as a meddlesome interloper. Exactly what he's doing this evening. You see, first, it is a shame and it is an embarrassment that Edo, the pride of this nation, and the party from Edo, the APC, has been brought to this level. I tell you, there is no situation without history. You are a member of the fourth estate of Irem, and you have been following the story. Although I'm not trying to ask you to degenerate into, to descend into the arena, but history will avail you. This is what I'm just going to repeat, which of course are before you. You see, this battle boiled up to a point where it became obvious to everybody. On the 17th of June, you know what happened? When the governor orchestrated a move that saw minority taking preeminence over majority. You see, as usual, we cried out the next day, who were supposed to benefit from it, because I haven't contested an election. It was our right at that level to be inaugurated. Now, we called on the National Working Committee. We called on the president. We called on the National Assembly. These are all personnel of our party. What they did was to rush down to court, you know, orchestrated again by the governor. They went to court to get an injunction restraining the National Working Committee and all others who were named in our press interview, you know, from having anything to do with resolution of the party. Now, it is an offense, even in the constitution of the APC, of the All Progressives Congress, that you do not resort to court as the first option without first taking pains to take advantage of internal conflict resolution mechanism of the party. But their first option was to go to court, to restrain the National Working Committee. And that is exactly what has brought us. This is, by 17th of this month, it will be exactly 5 months since they did that act of wickedness that you know. And I listened to the governor yesterday, in his own words, and I want to quote him. When he was, when he organized a show yesterday, you know, celebrating his 3 years in office, I want to quote him the way he described the House of Assembly that he constituted, you know, by himself. He called the House of Assembly, as it is today, a plane without one engine. Who will risk entering a plane without an engine? The normal conclusion to that, if I may add to that, is that a plane without one engine, as he described the House of Assembly, is a plane that is doomed for destruction. Unfortunately, he is the pilot of that plane with one engine, and he's in that plane. He's in that flight.
Sifo, let me ask you: who stands suspended by law? I have a feeling that you're a lawyer. Who stands suspended? Because 3 people have been suspended, obviously, from the different divides: the governor, the deputy, on the other hand, the national chairman. Is Mr. Oshiomhole suspended? Is the governor suspended? Is his deputy, Philip Schwab, suspended also?
Now, the question you asked. Fortunately, my brother there is also a lawyer, so I expect him to know this fact. You know, opinions are free, facts are sacred. And the fact is that the State Working Committee, as an organ of the party, reserves the right to do exactly what they did. When an officer in the party misbehaves, especially in the State Working Committee, like Anselmo Jesua, the former chairman of the party, did, they, by 2/3 majority, they got the number, the signature, to suspend him. And that was exactly what they did. What the response to that followed was the governor orchestrated through his men, came together in government house, because I watched the man who read what they read. That is government house. That's a place that I know so well. What is the business if the governor was not the one orchestrating this thing? He was not careful enough to do a neat job.
In that sense, Honorable Sifo, in that sense, does Mr. Oshiomhole also stand suspended if, according to Mr. Adeze, that, look, the local level of the party has the power to admit or to dismiss any member of the party. In that sense, is Mr. Oshiomhole suspended from the APC?
Then he does not. Then he has not looked at the constitution. I will not blame him. He's not a member of the party, so he has not bothered to read the constitution of the party. Now, the constitution of the party will expect that for you to be suspended, it has to originate from your ward. First, it starts from your unit to your ward, from your ward to the local government to the state executive committee, and if it is ratified, it comes upstairs. because we all, as members of a party, we owe our membership to the national, which of course confirms the register and those who are members or not of the party. Now, but the point I was trying to make is this, that the suspension of Oshiomhole by two-thirds majority of the State Working Committee, which is the requirement by the APC Constitution, is valid. That having done that, in response to that valid action that was taken, the governor and his co-travelers hurriedly called a meeting of some of the LGA chairmen to Government House, where in response to that, dragged Oshiomhole into it. What I expected them to have done at that was, if they felt that it was not nice enough they were not comfortable with the valid suspension and removal of office of Oshiomhole, the then chairman of the party as he then was, all they were supposed to do is to challenge that decision that they are taking. And the challenging that decision,
let me come to you. I'll come back to you, Mr. Osifo, because I'll also ask you, because the Governors Forum of the APC is asking the national chairman to step aside. I'll allow you to respond to that. But as it stands right now, I'd like you to respond to what Honorable Osifo said, that he called you a meddlesome interloper. In law, you know what that means.
You know, it's quite
you're putting your nose in what is not clear.
It's quite unfortunate. My father was the very first chairman of the local government that has a state constituency he represents. And unfortunately, Sunday this week will make it 5 months since he decided to take refuge in Abuja. Doing what? Enjoying himself. He was elected. He has a mandate. It's the height of irresponsibility.
Of the APC.
Of course, I'm an interested stakeholder, and most importantly, as an Edo man, I'm interested in the peace of the state. If there's crisis, of course, the state chairman of PDP has even made certain interventions. So to a very large extent, and the problem has always been people take politics as a profession. I'm a lawyer. You've introduced me as a lawyer. I'm a constitutional law teacher. This is my area. The APC constitution was followed in the suspension and expulsion of Lawrence Oka. If Lawrence Oka, who was expelled from the party, calls a meeting at 1 a.m. at his residence, and they start announcing what they have announced, and Oshiomhole, as the national chairman of the party, says whatever Lawrence Oka and his co-travelers have said concerning the governor is ratified, it means that Oshiomhole must step aside. Right. He cannot be a judge in his case.
Since you're a lawyer, the case of what happened, because these are some of the arguments from the other side, Oshiomhole side, that the people will pass the budget, will start on the budget, the governor presented earlier today. That is it lawful? Do they have the number to sit on the budget?
Why not? Because as it stands, Section 102 says that whether the casual or general vacancy of any seat in the House of Assembly, Section 102 is very clear that the vacancy of seats in the House of Assembly cannot affect its proceedings. If 12 members, initially 10 members were inaugurated, 2 other members were inaugurated, if we have 12 members of the Edo State House of Assembly sitting from the time the House was inaugurated in June, and these other 12 ragtag members have decided not to join them, it cannot prevent them from passing the budgets.
What do you think is the solution? One sentence.
The solution is for Adams Oshiomhole to resign, because a vote of no confidence has been passed on him, and he cannot be a judge in this court. Like Justice Onoke, he should resign.
All right, let's close this program, and I'll allow Honorable Osifo to give us his final thought on the program. And I wish that you can do that in 45 seconds. What do you think is the solution in this matter?
No, but before the solution, first, you asked the question. They are talking about the Governors Forum. The busybody man who parades himself as the DG Governors Forum cannot take the position of the governors, because he's not a governor, he's not a member of the forum. So it is not the Governor Forum that spoke, it is the man who is neither a governor nor a member of that forum that spoke. So the DG cannot validly speak for the governor or claim to speak for the governor. So it is not the governor that spoke, and it is not the forum that spoke. I'm talking about how to deal with the issues, just like you asked. You see, the governor, as the governor of a state, under the flagship of APC, must do the very responsible thing. And doing the very responsible thing will mean he should obey the law, respect the law, and respect the party that in whose ticket he's flying.
Because we are
he's still asking to fly.
Honorable Washington Osifo, a member-elect of the Edo State House of Assembly, Mr. Andrew Mwante Adaze, a lawyer and a university teacher. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Shane Wakimbale. Bye for now.